Good, good morning and welcome to Mocha Money Monday. I'm Ashley Scott, one of your P3 Elite coaches, and I am here today with Miss Lorraine D. Lane. How are you? Another one of our P3 Elite coaches. How are you today?
I am well, thanks. Happy Monday to everybody.
Happy Monday to everybody on the line. And of course, we have some of our P3 Elite coaches as well. I want to shout out Miss Rhonda, Miss Donetta, and Miss Laura Riley Cooper. Thank you for being with us on the call today. And to our audience that are watching, we are going to talk about a topic that is important, probably one of the most important topics that we will discuss during our Mocha Money Monday, and that is human resources, HR. The most important resource is your human resources, the people that allow your business to succeed. You can't be a top business without top people. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it on over to a restaurateur here in Atlanta. Miss Lorraine has so much knowledge. She's deeply rooted in entrepreneurship. Her experience being able to talk about human resources today comes from not just her restaurant experience, but her experience in corporate America as well. So I'm really excited to get into this today, and she's going to leave you with some insights that will help you make sure that you have the right people for the right jobs at the right time to blow your business up. Miss Lorraine, take it away.
Good morning. Good morning. Happy Monday, everyone. Mocha Monday is live and fully open. So Ashley mentioned something, human resources. The most important resource that you have in your business are the people that work for you. If you are a solo practitioner right now, your goal, I believe, is probably to grow your business and bring people on board to do some of the tasks that you find yourself sometimes inundated with on any given basis. So one of my first points that I have is make sure you're hiring the right people. Oftentimes when we are, especially when we're starting out in businesses, we depend on sometimes our friends and our families to help us get the business moving. And then once we grow a little bit, we sometimes still stay connected to those friends and family when they may not always be the best for your business. If you are in, I'll speak on mine. If you're in restaurateur business, and that's funny to say that because ours is a family business, family-owned business, but we have to reach out to an accountant to do the books. We need to hire the right PR person to help our business grow. In any business that you have, take the time and invest in the hiring process of your organization. And once you hire the right person, here sometimes we get into, I'd say, murky waters. We don't invest the time to train the right person to give them the knowledge that they need to run your business. And you have to get comfortable with sometimes releasing some of those controls. I get it's your baby. You've grown your business. You want to oversee and make sure things are going the way you want them to go. And although that's important, there is an element to the resource, the human resource, and trusting that person that you have working with you. I like to say, I trust with validation. I just don't put it out there and then walk away from our business. It's important that I follow up with those people that I bring on board. A piece of hiring that I wanted to make sure I tap in is what resources are you going to look to hire your folks? There's many hiring apps out there, from Indeed platforms out there to career builders. Take advantage of those. Not all of those cost money. It depends on how large of a search you're looking for, as well as how often you're searching. But take the time, review resumes. One of the pitfalls that we've had in hiring the right people is sometimes we haven't taken the opportunity or the time to really research the person that we're bringing on board. What do I mean by that? Check references. And I know that sounds basic, but sometimes when you're in the fire and you need someone to pick up something, you make a quick hire. And you don't dot all the I's and cross the T's. You may get a recommendation from one person without really vetting that person for your organization. And ask yourself prior to, what are you looking for? I like to keep lists. So I make a list of what are the traits, what are the characteristics that I'm looking for in this individual to bring to my business. We often hire people that may have great academic skill set, but their emotional skill set and their ability to work with people may not be on target. So vet the person you're looking for, do the background check and check on them. Ashley, do you want me to go on to point 2 of this?
Yeah, well, I do see Miss Rhonda asked if she could ask a question. Miss Rhonda, did you want to ask your question?
Absolutely. That's all right. You're making some great points. But the question I have is, how do you know you are hiring the right person? Most of the time when we hire people in our organizations, we always think it's the right person. But how do we get, before we get to hire them, how do we know that it's the right person? I mean, I think you're starting to touch on some of the things, but just the basics. How do you know you're hiring the right person? Most of the time you're seeing these people for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe an hour, and you're making a decision. So help us, talk through a little bit of how we would know it's the right person.
Excellent question, Rhonda. I like to say it's kind of like dating. People bring their star player on the first couple of dates. So is too when you hire somebody. No, there is no 100%. You might be able to check the box on, yes, they have these certifications, they have this academic background. There are 2 measures for me when I'm looking at that. I'm looking at the first 90 days and I'm looking at the first 6 months. What is that person bringing? And I'm real clear. I don't spend a lot of time if some of the basic skills are not there for the person. So what do I mean by that? We do a 90-day evaluation with our employees. And we're looking for some basic. I know this is going to sound basic, but how many times is this person calling out within the first 90 days? You've given this person a report to write, and it comes back to you with a lot of spelling errors, or, just not really complete sentences, or they can't, write. People can talk a good game. You may be in the accountant world and you have them doing bookkeeping, and you're finding out your information is not coming back to you accurately. It is important you take those steps right then and there. Cut ties. I know people are thinking, oh my God, she's gonna let people go right in 90 days, but this is real. This is a resource. Millions of dollars are spent on recruiting. And so the longer you take and you keep that person and not giving you what you need or the values that you need, pay attention to what people are doing within the first 6 months and give feedback. And pay attention if people are responding to your feedback. Are you arguing with somebody about what you want for your business? Or people, I'm not saying people aren't making recommendations to help your business grow, but maybe you have a clear goal or a clear target that you want to reach. And that person is coming in and saying, no, you can't reach that target because of just some invalid reasons. So you won't know 100%, but take advantage of those 90 and 160-day introductory period. That's what I call it, an introductory period, to assess that person and see if they're giving you your basic processes being followed for your organization.
And if you don't mind, I'd like to add something else about that. Is really, know that the values work, right? Because part of the issue sometimes is that the values are mismatched. If you know going in the door that you need somebody who is going to be efficient, then, design those interview questions to get to the values so that you don't waste as much time in your 90 days discovering that the person is not who you want them to be. So I definitely say values.
Absolutely, because that's part of that list that I talked about earlier. Create a list of what you are looking for. Don't assume or go into an interview without your values list, your emotional intelligence list, and your skill set list. Those are 3 things that are important for you to know. What are you looking for? In EI, there's a whole gamut of information out there on emotional intelligence and what's needed in the workplace.
These are all very good points that Miss Lorraine. Let's go ahead and move to your second point.
Okay, ensure you are complying with labor laws in your state. We jump into businesses, we're excited. We register our businesses, we get our LLCs or our sole proprietorships, whatever your organization structure is. But nothing is more important than taking the time, go on the Georgia Department of Labor or whatever state you may be visiting us from, and real clear, they will list for you all the forms that you need, the information for you to read, and understanding what are the labor laws in the state of Georgia. Georgia is an at-will state. You know, what does that mean? Sometimes people get a little taken aback when, for our offer letters, we give our employees offer letters that we specifically state, Georgia's an at-will employee. You have the right to terminate your employment with us at any time for any reason. And as an employer, we have the right to do the same as long as it has just cause. And that's the piece that sometimes people miss. And then you end up, you know, having to spend your time defending why you let somebody go in your place of business, but also knowing what's required to be posted in your place of business. You know, there's required federal law posters, required things that have to do with OSHA, required information that has to do with workers' comp. So all those things are required, and you should really invest your time in reading it. I didn't get my email, but I had a website that's posted in my dolgeorgia.gov. If you look at that in any state, just put in Department of Labor, it will literally take you to their website, and most of them have them. Thank you. Most of them have a drop down that tells you what those laws are in that particular state. Any questions?
Yeah, no, I know that even when I started my business, I would get these mailers in the mail that would tell me, like, you need to get these statements and buy these posters for your break room. And I didn't realize that that was something that I needed to do. Obviously, as a sole proprietor, I didn't necessarily need to do it. But it is important to understand that there are labor laws and there are notifications and things that you should have. And a lot of times we don't take those things as seriously as we should. And if somebody does come knocking, you definitely want to have the right things in place so that you can be the big business that you are anticipating being, because you don't want to get fined or in trouble for not having the things in place that you're supposed to have in place as an employer. So those are great points. Let's move on to the next one.
All right, the next one is avoid personnel legal troubles by having and developing or updating your policies and or having an employee handbook. Now, granted, if you're by yourself in your office, you're making it work, you may not necessarily need an employee handbook or policies. But once you start hiring people, you should really invest in policies that are surrounded by your business. What do you expect? What are some of the policies for taking vacation? What's your policy for calling out? What's the policy if someone trips in your office? Where are they supposed to go first? All of those things can be very costly if you don't take the time. You can go on Indeed, you can go on Rocket Lawyer, you can go on LegalZoom. There are all sorts of templates to set handbooks and policies. And it doesn't have to be a 100-page document, but you should outline what's your expectation. And I know you may think, you know, I'm being facetious, but whether or not somebody can come into your place of business with edibles, you know, depending on what you're operating. Can you drink in your offices after 5? These are real policies that have come up in some private owned businesses. I cannot speak enough to employee handbook. If you have 3 or more employees, you really should have a handbook, whether it's 5 pages or 100 pages, depending on the size of your organization. You should have an employee handbook. And that is one for us that we have reviewed by our attorney on an annual basis. You might ask why so often, how much changes? I'll give you COVID. COVID changed the game and what our handbook needed to say as far as people using sanitation practices, as far as people calling out for work when they were sick. And we still have some of those policies. When do people get tested? Can they come to work if they have a fever or certain? So all those little things may sound, oh, we're out of COVID, but no, we're not. And those policies, some of those policies have to be amended. Or what is your time that people can take off from work? If you're paying vacation, how's vacation accrued or sick time accrued, and when can you use it? So I know it may sound like, oh, I'm not there yet. but get into the habit, become to develop, because if your goal is to grow your business, this is a part of your business that can cost you dollars and finances and resources, even if it's resources of your staff or of you having to sit down and defend your actions. Time is money. And if you're using your time to defend your actions, you are sucking up valuable resources out of your organization.
These are such fine points. I know one of the things that is the first thing that any business, when we start talking about your foundation, what makes a business a real business, it's your paperwork, it's your documentation.
Absolutely.
And those handbooks, I haven't, whether it was me as just the virtual assistant for a small business owner, as a waitress, as the internal marketing communications manager, as a nonprofit organization, wherever I work, the handbook is the first thing that you should have, because it answers those essential questions that anybody has, down to like, when are they getting paid? What's the process for reimbursement? And
right.
It's the even more significant things that can get us in trouble as employers. What's your code of conduct, right?
Correct.
What's right or wrong when it comes to how are you going to handle sexual harassment? How do you handle violence or harassment in the workplace when it
right.
comes to racial discrimination? And if you don't have those policies clearly outlined, even if it's just a basic template from someone else that you've copied and pasted, you can find yourself in real trouble here, and it's going to affect your money at the end of the day. We are here
Absolutely.
talking about Mocha Money Monday, and
that is your resource.
Human resources is one of those most important things to have in place when it comes to that handbook. You couldn't have, I'm so glad that you hit that point today, Miss Lorraine, because a lot of us, sometimes when we're establishing our businesses, we don't hit those finer points of those kinds of documentation. And you can never be too early.
No.
If you are just starting out, have it already in the pipeline, because when you go to start having conversations with investors, with financial people, that's just going to make them know that you are serious about your business, because you have that important document already in place, along with your profit and loss statements. Those are things are important as for sure, but having that human resource document, that handbook, and that policies and procedures in place, that is going to be the springboard for your success later down the line, even when it comes to attracting the right investors and opportunities to grow your capital. So I just want to open the floor. I want to say thank you again, Ms. Lane, for taking the time today to discuss some of these very important points around human resources. It is indeed the most important resource, because one thing for sure, if you don't have the right employees, the right customer service, the right sales team, that is going to have a negative impact for how your business grows. So take some time to follow these steps, get that list, hire some people who have high emotional intelligence, people who are problem solvers. Make sure that you take the time, again, to take that 90-day, that 6-month period to evaluate your employees. Make sure that they know that they're going to be evaluated, so you get the best from your team. And then, of course, make sure you have that all-important employee handbook in place. So thank you. I do see we have a hand from Miss Yanni Lewis. Come on off the mic, unmute yourself, Yanni, and let's talk about what insights you might have gotten today.
Great morning, Yanni here from Atlanta. I just wanted to acknowledge Miss Lorraine, because one, she was the person that sponsored me for to be here this morning. So I just wanted to say thank you so much. And your spill this morning on like the operations is so funny, because my business partner told me that, oh, you should hire this person, get a VA, get this person. I'm like, okay, but the fact that this morning, he just said this yesterday, and the fact that this morning you're going over the policies and procedures, it just went hand in hand. So I'm so grateful that I got on here. I wanted to acknowledge Miss Donetta also for, just having a great conversation with me yesterday and shedding light on me about, you know, the importance of showing up and showing out when it comes to this, because this was something that was sponsored to me. So I do want to apologize for my absence and let you know moving forward, I have an alarm set every Monday to be on these calls and be committed to this. So thank you so much. And then also, am I allowed to share what I got going on? Okay, look, look, am I allowed? I just want to make sure before I just started going. So my goal right now, I'm working on, I'm on a 90-day plan right now. No drinking, no smoking, exercising every day, and writing out my business plan for my event space venue that I want to have by October 2023. And September 2nd, I'm hosting our first event. And if you ladies are free, I would love for y'all to come out and to support me. It's going to be in Conyers, Georgia. I'll drop the flyer, but it's just getting me so prepared for me opening up my own space to have those type of events that you ladies had, that I came to, and how I met you guys. So I'm just like, let me put myself out there a little bit more, share it as I continue to make this business plan, and see if there was any insights that y'all have for me or how I can add value to y'all. Thank you so much for letting me share. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you, Yanni. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so glad to see you this morning.
Yes, we're so glad to see you, Yanni, and all of the guests who are listening online. This is another Mocha Money Monday brought to you by the Phenomenal Hughes Community P3 coaches. We are here to help you prepare, pivot, or prosper on your way to prosperity. So if you know that you're a CEO and you are ready to become bankable, this is the community for you. We thank you. We are here every Monday, 8:30 a.m. live. Join the platform, join our community, and see your business grow. Watch your money grow. And again, we are so excited to continue to build this community, what we call the epicenter of phenomenal women. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next week. Thank you again, Miss Lorraine, for being with us and sharing HR, the most important resource. And thank you to the other phenomenal coaches who are on the line, our P3 Elite founding coaches, Ms. Laura, Ms. Rhonda, Donetta. Thank you as always for being here, and we'll see you again next week. See you later. Peace.
Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you.